Well, since the cold weather broke, the crews have been out there patching up those potholes all around the city. I know you've probably seen them.
That's right, but for one of our viewers, the damage may have been done already. Her question is number 3 on the docket.
Yeah, it is. Peter Fink is number 1, though. He's here to help. He owns Certified Transmission, joins us a few times a month. Good to see you, Peter.
Always fun to be here.
Have a good weekend, yeah?
You know, I had a good weekend, yeah, definitely. You know, I didn't think this year was that bad on potholes, okay?
You know,
I mean,
it seems like the last just week, they've all kind of
really?
popped up.
Okay, all right. I haven't, at least the streets I drive don't seem to be too terribly bad this year compared to some years, okay?
Yeah, some years are really bad. But
Yep.
let's get to the first question.
Sure.
Sam has his first question. And the question, does having a shell on the bed of a truck cause the tires to wear faster? If so, how much will it reduce the life of the tire?
Wow, that's a great question. Never thought of something
Never thought about that.
It does put some weight on there.
Yeah, it is a little bit of weight, okay, and stuff, but you know, a pickup truck is really made for that, okay, to haul weight and stuff. And so I would say absolutely not, okay. The number one reason tires wear is because people don't check the air pressure, okay. You know, it is a big inconvenience, okay, since the full service gas stations went away a long time ago, okay, you know, before your time probably, okay, and stuff, you know, we don't check the air pressure. Number 2 thing is shocks wearing out. My rule of thumb is when I put a new set of tires on a vehicle, I put new shocks on it, okay? People don't realize shocks wear out at about 50,000 miles, okay? Tires will go 60 to 80,000, so you need new shocks, and it will cut the life of your tires really probably in half, okay, and stuff. So the shell isn't causing it. You got something else if you got tire wear.
And the struts and the shocks, are they kind of tied together there?
Struts is the new on front-wheel drive cars, okay? It is the shock, okay? In the older days, you had shocks on them. Now they, instead of having control arms and everything, they have a McPherson strut is what it's called, okay? And it's the same thing. Unfortunately, those do cost a little bit more than regular shocks, but again, when you're putting tires on, you're making a large investment. Tires cost a lot of money. It's worth the shocks.
Yeah. Well, I always like the noise questions, and we have one of those coming up next from James. He writes, there's a clicking noise in the front of my 2009 Suzuki Grand Vitara. Now, this noise is heard in the following conditions: when I hit a bump and when releasing the brakes during a turn. What do you think it could be?
You know, noises is the hardest thing to always diagnose. Okay?
But it's probably one of the most popular questions you're asked.
You know, you got a lot of things. Anything a little loose or a little wore can make noise when you're driving down the road. A rattle, a noise, all them kind of things. And unfortunately, that's the hardest thing for mechanics to duplicate in the shop because the car's sitting still, okay? We're under there trying to grab stuff and see if something's loose or shaking it, you know, and visual, okay, and stuff. And then trying to go road test it. And listen, but noise travels. You'd be amazed at how, you know, you swear it's in the right rear and you get back and it wasn't, okay, and stuff, you know. Noise really travels. Now, back to this question. I'm thinking we probably got something that is with the sway bar bushings, okay. That's a very common deal on most cars to wear out, okay. I would think that's maybe what the rattling could be. The other thing is shocks, believe it or not, they've got rubber ends on them. If those shocks start going bad, or struts, I had a Caravan that was horrible. I put a new set on, and after about 20,000 miles, it was making a noise, okay, and stuff, and it was the strut itself making noise. It was a defective strut, okay. So I think you got shock, struts, or the sway bar bushing most likely. Don't think it's really going to be brake related. When you're stepping on the brake and turning, the car's diving, that gets into that sway bar and strut again. So I would think that's where it's at. If they haven't been looked at or replaced, that's a good place to start.
Got a theme going today.
We do have a theme. Here's our pothole question. The pothole question comes from Liz. I hit a pothole hard last week. My 2009 Ford Fusion seems to be running okay, but is there anything I should look at underneath the car? How much damage can a pothole cause?
Well, a pothole can cause a lot of damage, okay? It's unbelievable, but the bigger the pothole and depending upon the speed that you hit it at, definitely can. One of the most common things that will happen is you'll knock your alignment out, okay? Of course, one of the telltale signs is your steering wheel isn't straight anymore, or the car will now pull to the right or to the left, okay? The other thing is the easy other way to tell if you hit a large pothole and think you damaged something, look at the rim and make sure it doesn't have a buck buckle on it, okay? I mean, if you hit it hard enough, it could actually bow the rim out a little bit, and it'll have it on the outside rim, and you can see it. The other thing that can happen if you hit a pothole, a little harder to detect, is that you might break a belt in one of the tires, okay? And now you all of a sudden got a vibration that you didn't have before going down the road. I've had that happen, okay, and stuff, you know, where you hit a pothole and now you got a vibration at 60, 70 miles an hour that you didn't have before.
Is that a vibration you'll hear or a vibration you'll feel?
You won't hear it really too much. It's going to be more your steering wheel's going to start shaking, or you're going to feel it in the seat of the car. Usually if it's in the steering wheel, it's on your front wheels. If it's in the seat of the car or the floorboard, if you feel it with your feet or your seat, then it's usually the rear of the car. Okay,
didn't
the
know that.
But if you had a smooth ride and then all of a sudden it's not smooth anymore, you're shaking, you got some vibrations, that's a good sign.
Yep. Other than that, looking at it underneath the car, you're not probably going to be able to see anything, okay, and stuff. It probably, unless you really hit something and bet everything, but then you're not driving it, okay, and stuff, you know.
Exactly.
So.
If you haven't seen a lot of potholes yet, I would avoid 96th Street there.
Good,
okay?
all right.
Just
Where at?
stay away.
South side?
Right there by the new Hy-Vee. They're just south of Q Street. It's bad.
Really?
Bad.
Okay, see, I don't travel that one, so.
All right, well, Certified Transmission has 5 area locations, and Peter, he drops into just about all of them at some point. CertifiedTransmission.com is the website. Peter, thanks for your time this morning.
Always fun.
Good as always.
Yep.
All right,
All right.
we learned
Peter.
a lot today. Well,
we did.
if you'd like to get Peter's take on a car question of your own, we would love to hear from you. Email talkback@OmahaMorningBlend.com. You're also welcome to click on the Certified Transmission button on our website, big yellow tile, or you can always post questions to our Facebook wall.
We're excited to roll out our first Mamaha Monday. We've got 3 contributors that are here ready to go.
Yeah, okay, so do you remember the boy who got caught inside a claw game? The moms had something to say about that after results from the weekend box office. Stick around.